Hello and welcome into Versus Podcast. My name is Matt and I am happy to be joined by Devin. Today we'll be talking about Kevin Durant drama, the Cardinals going crazy, don't know how to run a team, and also at the end we're going to do a little mock draft of how we see a first round of a fantasy draft going. So with that said, please like this video, subscribe, we would greatly appreciate it. But Dev, how you doing?
Doing good. Ready to get this one going.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, let's start out with some, we've stepped away from basketball a little bit since the NFL season's getting close to it, but let's talk about all this Kevin Durant drama that we've kind of missed. So we kind of left off with seeming like he might go to the Suns. The Suns were not really having it. We found out DeAndre Ayton signed. We didn't know where it really was at. Trades kind of stopped. The last thing that we really saw was that the Celtics had apparently put an offer together to send Jaylen Brown to it, and we saw Jaylen Brown react on Twitter. What were your thoughts about that?
Man, I am heartbroken for Jaylen Brown. I would feel backstabbed. And, I mean, he tweeted, and he obviously wasn't happy about it. I don't know how if you're the Celtics management, I don't know, like, what do you do in that situation? Like, you probably did not want that to get leaked, and then it's out there, it just damage your reputation. I also don't think... I understand it's Kevin Durant, one of the best players we've ever seen before, but I think you roll with what you have right now. They're a good team. They've signed a bunch of bench people. I don't think that trade that trade attempt was the right move, necessarily. But I understand. I mean, it's Kevin Durant. But it would definitely feel for my boy Jaylen. It's got to sting.
Yeah. I mean, some people are... I disagree with this take, but some people are saying that that Jaylen Brown is more valuable to the Celtics than even Jason Tatum is. And that's crazy to say. But, I mean, he is a big part of it. Yeah. I think that obviously Kevin Durant is a better player, but, I mean, you got such a young talent. You guys made it to the finals last year as a team you are. So I think that it was not good for the Celtics, but, I mean, nothing happened out of it, so... You'll have Jaylen Brown back, hopefully, and everything got worked out with that. So,
I understand the Jaylen Brown hype. Like, in the playoffs, there was a lot of games where he carried that, and Jason Tatum did not show up. So, I understand it, but at the same time, Jason Tatum, I think he's a bit younger. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, he's a little younger.
He's a little younger. I feel like he still has some more potential in him. So I wouldn't necessarily say, like you said, I wouldn't agree with that Jaylen Brown is more of a feature on the team than... Yeah,
exactly. No, for sure. I mean, yeah, but just continuing with the Kevin Durant drama, I mean, we kind of saw the last couple days it came out that Kevin Durant has had multiple talks about wanting to be traded, and still specifically to Phoenix. I don't really know how that's going to be able to get done to Phoenix. Yeah. I mean, they're going to have to get multiple teams involved if that's the case. Because it's not like the Suns can trade DA. Like he can't be traded until January. So I mean, I don't think that a package of Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Jay Crowder and a couple picks gets it done.
I feel like they definitely have to add a third team, and I don't even know what that looks like you said.
A while ago they talked about like adding because. Obviously, the Knicks want Donovan Mitchell has been like a huge thing. Yeah. Is that the Knicks really want Donovan Mitchell? So the thought was that they could add the Knicks, the Jazz, the Nets, and the Suns is like the biggest hope.
That's just too much.
And it's just too big of a blockbuster trade to happen.
Yeah.
But Kevin Durant wants to be traded to the Suns. Don't really know how it's supposed to be happening. But the new news is that he has talked to the front office once again, and he's wanting to be traded to the Suns, or now staying with the Nets if Steve Nash is to be fired as their head coach. What are your thoughts on that one?
If I was a Nets fan, I would be very upset because, I mean, what's his name?
I know you're talking about, yeah.
That Joe guy, he already came out and is like, I really like our front office and coach, and we're going to do what's best for, like, the Nets organization. Basically already shutting down whatever Kevin Durant was trying to push. So if you're a Nets fan, you're already looking at this like dang, Kevin Durant is probably gone. Like, what else are they going to do? I mean, it's a big move by KD. I don't know what they're going to do, man.
I mean, the reason that Steve Nash is the coach of the Brooklyn Nets is because Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant wanted him.
Yeah, now it's like, what happened?
And now it's like, what happened? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't even have a take of what the Nets should do. Like, I have no idea what they should do.
They're in a bad spot.
Like they have no draft picks. If you trade away Kevin Durant, you'll get draft picks, but you'll literally just be making up the draft picks that you had.
And I feel like what we've been hearing, what they're wanting for Kevin Durant, I understand it's Kevin Durant, but
it's absurd.
No team is going to give you that much.
Yeah, I know. That's why the trade talks have stopped.
Yeah.
It's because of this. It's absurd. It's definitely absurd to see.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. I feel like this is going to be a situation where either Kevin Durant ends up playing for a little bit. You know how kind of James Harden was in Houston to where he kind of played, but you knew that he wanted to be gone?
Yeah.
So kind of one of those situations could happen, or Kevin Durant just doesn't play.
You think he might sit out?
I think he might sit out. If he doesn't want to be there, he already wants to be traded.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't want to play for Steve Nash.
That's true.
Like, wow. I mean, I don't think it's the right thing to do, but I think that's what Kevin Durant would do.
Yeah. I don't know if I see him sitting out, but I mean, like you said, if he wants...
I don't see him getting traded before the season starts, do you?
It's tough, man. I just don't know what they're going to do because
if they're going to do it,
budge.
If they're going to do it, I feel like they're going to get less than they want.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, way less than they want
it's
to where...
Only way.
Yeah. Because they're... What was that one trade they asked for? Anthony Edwards... from the Twins. It was, from the Twins, from the Timberwolves. It was like a big Anthony bag. Edwards. It wasn't Cat, but it was someone. I feel like it was someone else too.
It looks like it was. They wanted Karl Anthony Towns.
So they wanted Cat too.
Anthony Edwards and 4 draft picks, which I'm assuming.
So that's it. Was wow. Yeah. See, like that's absurd to me. Like they're not going to get anything.
Too much. Yeah. No one's gonna. I like Anthony Edwards a lot. I think he's a lot of potential.
Yeah, I agree. And with Karl Anthony Towns, like that's crazy.
And then 4 firsts on top of that. Like,
that's
they're
crazy.
Just asking for too much.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Nets are a disaster.
I think that they could have gotten a really, really good deal for Kevin Durant when it first broke, but because of how terrible they've been in the trade talks.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like with the MLB, like the Cubs ended up not trading Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ because like they just expected way too much, and people were like, we're not going to buy. So I think it's going to be one of those situations, but it'll be interesting to see how it continues to play out. Let's move back over to the NFL.
Real quick, and the crazy thing is, Kevin Durant is only half the problem. They still had Kyrie Irving, and I don't know what's going on with that, but...
Yeah, and he might get traded to the Lakers. You're right. I mean, that's been a huge thing, but...
They're a mess, but...
Oh, it's crazy. But let's go over to the NFL. Let's talk about a hometown team here. If you don't know, we are filming this in Mesa, Arizona. Obviously, I am a fan of the Arizona Cardinals. The team, I'm not a fan of how terribly run this organization is. But getting into it, we have Kyler Murray talking about it. We talked about his massive deal. We talked about how he didn't deserve it. Mm-hmm. And it ends up coming out that he has homework as part of his deal. So if you didn't see, Kyler Murray has to, in his clause, would have to do, I think it was either 4 or 5 hours a night, do film study where they can track that he's doing it, and pretty much treating him like he is in high school. And so obviously that got a lot of backlash. What was your thoughts on all that?
If I'm Kyler Murray, that's a slap in the face. And if I'm a Cardinals fan, I'm a little worried because it's in there for a reason. Cardinals are not just going to put that in there for...
I mean, it's been a thing. As last year, he says that he doesn't really watch film. And obviously got blown way out of proportion. But he isn't that much of a film guy. And I remember Garrett sending us something about how when Call of Duty comes out in late October, that Kyler Murray's, not only his fantasy points, but his passing yards and his passing touchdowns go down a lot.
You know what it was? It was Call of Duty double XP weekends or whatever. So whenever there's a double XP weekend, apparently this man's just gaming because his stats tank. He's not watching film.
Well, we know that he's in love with... he really loves video games, and obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but there is a reason that this is in the contract because they don't trust him to be watching the film, and maybe they're trying to use that to keep him off of video games. But, I mean... I don't think that this is good for either side. I think it looks even worse for Cardinals organization, who their front office has not looked good this whole offseason, besides a couple of parts. But, I mean... It doesn't look good.
Does not look good giving a guy a max contract like that, and in it you have to have him watching film. Not a good look. But hey, I mean, it's not in there anymore.
Yeah, and it is taken out of the contract because of all the controversy. My personal opinion, conspiracy theory out here, I think that Kyler's camp leaked this to get him out of this, to get out of the backlash. That's what I think.
I agree, yeah. Smart.
Smart move. Smart move. I mean, his team has fleeced the Cardinals out of a lot of money.
For sure.
But let's stick with the Cardinals and just the great news that continues to come. We thought that we would finally be able to talk about training camp, talk about how the team looks, but no. Last week, on the way to practice, Hollywood Brown was arrested for speeding, the newest wide receiver in Arizona, at a top speed of 126 miles per hour. Found out that they were supposed to be staying in a hotel room next to training camp is where they're all supposed to be. They got lights out or whatever you want to call it afterwards. He decided to drive to wherever he has, his house or whatever, and on the way back to practice in the morning was going 126 miles per hour on the I-10. So, what are your thoughts?
It's not smart. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking. Going 127, like, does he not expect repercussions for it? And it's crazy, too, because I don't know how accurate this is, but I think I saw Cliff Kingsbury say today, like, oh, we're not going to, like, punish him or anything. Like, the NFL's been handling stuff like that recently, so we're just going to, like, give it up to them.
Yeah.
So
Cliff isn't... Cliff is part of the problem, in my opinion, because I don't think that he is the person to have in charge to be able to deal with all of this stuff.
Yeah.
He is not... Why do you think Kyler Murray's been so lenient throughout his career? Because he has a lenient coach.
Yeah,
he has a coach that's not going to be able to be like, you need to be doing this stuff. This is what you need to be doing better. He's like, just patting him along, letting him be, which is good, but there's parts where you need to be like, Kyler, you need to watch this. You need to watch this film. You need to spend this time. Like, if we want to be a team that's competing for a Super Bowl, this is what needs to happen. Kyler Murray has grown up going off of his talent, and I think that it's going to catch up to him at some point if it has not caught up with him already. And then Hollywood Brown, Kyler's teammate in college, comes and probably just thinks this is just going to be glorified college days once all over again. And I don't think that the Cardinals are doing a good job of handling this as a business as a whole.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but I mean, I like the addition of Marquise Brown, so hopefully it works out.
I think that the NFL has bigger things to deal with at this point, so hopefully there will be no suspension. If anything, I think it's 1 to 2 games, but starting off with the Chiefs and then at the Raiders, like, you don't want to be losing 1 to 2 games. Like,
I mean, you're already out D-Hop, so
exactly
you need him very bad.
Exactly, because if not, your wide receiver 1 is AJ Green.
AJ Green, Rondale Moore, I don't know, who else you got?
Andy Isabella.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's not looking good for the Cardinals, but we want to get away from that, and in the next segment, we will be going through our 12-person mock draft first round. All right, let's get into it. Our 12-person mock draft. If anyone is watching from the Redraft League, know that this is not what we're thinking is going to happen. Don't think that you can take any of our picks. I'm late in the draft, so it doesn't really matter for me, but... For sure. Devin, let's start with you. What is your number 1 overall pick? Who, if you have the number 1 pick in a fantasy draft, who are you taking number 1?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the pretty obvious answer, but definitely Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I struggled. I wanted to go Christian McCaffrey bad because I think that if McCaffrey's healthy the whole season, he'll be better than Jonathan Taylor, but I think that the injury risk is too much, so I went Jonathan Taylor 1 as well.
At 2... And I'm not sure about this one, but for now I have Derrick Henry. I mean, there was just, before he got injured, there was 40 bombs he was going off, and now, I mean, you don't have A.J. Brown anymore. Who knows, like, how much more, I don't know if they can use him any more than they already are, but just an absolute beast. As long as he stays healthy, I have him at number 2.
My number 2 is Christian McCaffrey. I think it's the same thing. If he stays healthy, he is a beast. He's one of the best fantasy players that we've ever seen if he stays healthy. So I got Christian McCaffrey at 2.
Yep, so that leads right to mine. I have Christian McCaffrey at 3. I think he, like you said, when healthy, is the best fantasy player. We've seen that. I worry about injuries a lot when I'm drafting. But if I'm sitting there at 3 and he's there, I'm taking him.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of the same at 2. Is like, if you're at 2 and you get McCaffrey, I think it's too much of a risk to not take him at 2. I mean, it's like
high of a ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. But number 3 for me, I mean, I think that people might think this is too high because he's a wide receiver, but I got Cooper Kupp. I know that he had a great year last year, but I think that not he's going to replicate that, but he's going to be as good. Like, he'll be able to perform. He has Allen Robinson coming into that offense, who I think that can be great. I have heard some rumors that Matthew Stafford is dealing with a little bit of an elbow thing, so that is something to look out for. But, I mean, if Matthew Stafford's healthy, I think that we've seen what Cooper Kupp is able to do. So I got Cooper Kupp at 3.
Yep, so at 4, I have Austin Eckler. He's just been a beast in the rushing and passing game throughout the past couple seasons. Been pretty healthy as well. I think he's probably been out a couple games with a concussion or something, but for the most part, he's been healthy, been like a top 5 running back the past couple of fantasy seasons, so got him at 4.
Yeah, I got 4 Austin Eckler as well. I just think that he is in a great offense. I mean, we know how you feel about Justin Herbert, but I mean, it's a great like he's going to be able to, if you're in a full PPR league, I feel it's definitely worth it. So, yeah, that's what I got. I got Austin Eckler at 4.
Yep, so 5, I got Cooper Kupp, and honestly, I wouldn't blame anybody for taking him at like 3, 4, like you said. I don't think he's going to have as great as the season he did last year, which isn't saying much because, I mean, his season last year was absolutely insane. I think it's an easy pick at top 5.
Yeah, if he falls to you at 5, I think that you should be very happy with that pick.
Yep.
At 5, I have Justin Jefferson. I think that he showed us in his rookie and his sophomore year, if you want to say it, how great of a wide receiver he is. And their new offense is going to be leaning more towards the pass, which is only going to help him. Yeah. And so if I'm sitting there at 5 and Cooper Kupp's gone, Austin Eckler's gone, I'm taking Justin Jefferson for sure.
Yep, I got him at 6. I love Justin Jefferson. Like, even being a Packers fan, like, I don't care. I have him in my Dynasty League. Super happy about it, but I think Justin Jefferson is probably going to finish as wide receiver 1 this year over Kupp. Definitely. If not, easily like top 3. I don't know. I think if you're at 6, you have to take Justin Jefferson there. Hoping he falls to me at 7 in my draft, but we'll see.
Yeah, 6. I mean, I might be a little bit lower than you. You had him at 2, but my 6 is Derrick Henry. I think that it's a little bit different than Christian McCaffrey in my opinion. They both have upside. I feel like Christian McCaffrey has more of an upside, even though there's the injuries. Derrick Henry's coming off a foot injury, which he gets a lot of carries. He's getting up in there in age. So my reason for 6 is nothing to do with his skill set, but it's based off of the injury factor. And I am more, if he's healthy, I would draft him ahead of Austin Eckler, but I'm too worried about that risk factor, so I would be putting him back at 6 for that reason.
That makes a lot of sense. At 7, I have Najee Harris. I like Najee. I mean, he proved it a lot last year. I don't know. I think in a PPR league at 7, if he's there, you take him. I personally would take him over Dalvin Cook, and I'll get into Dalvin Cook later, but I think he is a PPR machine, kind of like Eckler, and he's going to get a lot of those catches, so I have him at 7.
At 7 for me is Jamar Chase. I mean, I think some people might be down on him, worried about sophomore slump or anything, but there's nothing we've really seen out of Jamar Chase to think that. I think that he'll have a great year in the Bengals offense. I mean, another year with Joe Burrow. I mean, they've just got the connection. I just really like his look. I mean, he's got another great wide receiver in T. Higgins on the other side of him, to where I think that there might be some times where he could take a second place, so that's something to think about. It's because T. Higgins, I feel like, could be a guy that could take over some games this year. Yeah. But I love Jamar Chase. I think that he has to be wide receiver 3 in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just think that him and Joe Burrow have the connection, so you got to take him there at 7.
Yeah, exactly. I have him at 8. I mean, you already hit the hammer on the nail.
Nail on the head.
Yeah, there you go. Just to add on to what you said, I mean, even with Higgins as a wide receiver 2, Tyler Boyd is a good wide receiver 3. It's not like they can double team him and be prepared for him more than they did last season, but their offensive weapons are so strong, it's going to be hard to fully try to shut him down like that. So, and
a lot of defenses will be making sure to shut him down. So it could be a risky pick, but I mean, if he's sitting there at 7 or 8, you have to take him.
100%.
My 8, I have him above Najee Harris. I got Dalvin Cook, and I know that you might disagree with this one, but the only worry for Dalvin Cook for me is, one, obviously injuries, because he's been injured almost every single year for a couple games. Not like he's missed a full season. Yeah. So, I mean, you could be missing that. But I also saying how the Vikings do have a passing offense more heavily now in the offense could be a problem. I think it might help with injuries, so I think that he'll be able to dominate. If they are able to be as good as we think they are and get up in games, I mean, he could get some garbage time.
Yeah.
Like, if they're up by like 14 points in the fourth quarter and he's able to go off for a long drive or something like that, I think that he's got to be your pick at 8. So
yeah, that's a good point. At 9, a lot of people might think this is a little bit of a reach. I love this dude. He's an absolute unit. I got Stephon Diggs at 9. I just think with him and Josh Allen's connection, it's too good. Like, I personally would take him over the rest of the wide receivers that we haven't already named if I'm at 9.
Yeah, at 9, I'm taking Najee Harris, kind of the points that you said. I mean, he is going to be the Steelers' offense this year. I mean, they have Deontay Johnson. Obviously, got, oh my gosh, why am I... Chase Claypool. But I think that the run game is going to be a specific thing. Yeah. We've seen how Josh Tomlin loves to stick with one back, so I think that he's going to be a great pickup at 9. But I just think that he'll have a little bit less just because I think that the Steelers are going to be in a lot of situations where then they're going to have to pass the ball a lot to be able to compete, which he could get some points for you in PPR.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason I'm taking Dalvin Cook ahead of him is I just think that Dalvin will be in a situation that's better than Najee Harris's.
Yeah, well, at 10, I have Dalvin Cook. My biggest worry with Dalvin Cook is kind of like what you said about Derrick Henry. He's getting up there in age a little bit. He just turned 27. He also, in his entire career, has not played more than 14 games in a single season. I feel like he's always getting injured every year. I personally love to grab Alexander Mattison as his backup every single year, and it's worked out really well. I don't know. Like I said, I worry about injuries a lot when I'm drafting. But, I mean, if he's there at 10, you have to take him. But, obviously, I think he's going 6 right now in most drafts, so he probably won't be there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that 6 is definitely a reach with his risk factor. It's always so scary.
Yeah.
Just with the risk. Like, if you draft someone in the first round and they get injured, like, it's just the worst feeling. Because you're like, my fantasy team is screwed. But, you had him at 10, right?
Yep.
All right, at 10, I have Stephon Diggs. I think that, just like you said, Josh Allen, his connection, they lose Cole Beasley, and Emmanuel Sanders. I think that he'll take a step up in the target share. He is just one of the best wide receivers in football, and I think that he will continue to dominate. I think that as they continue to build the connection, I think that he is a steal. If he gets to you at 10, I think he's a steal.
Yeah, definitely.
But don't take him, because I want him at 11, so don't take him.
Yeah. All right, at 11, I got Joe Mixon. I really like Joe Mixon. I think he finished as RB4 in PPR last year. I don't see him regressing in that state at all. I think he's a solid pickup. I mean, I could see him being involved in the pass game more this year with Joe Burrow. I like him a lot at number 11.
Yeah, my number 11 is the exact same. I got Joe Mixon. I love him in that offense. I think that he will perform. My only worry is they do like to use Samaje Perine a lot, so
yeah,
there's a little give and take with that. But, I mean, I think that Joe Mixon is a great running back at the 11 spot when you're starting to get to the point where a lot of running backs are taken.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great running back one to have to where it's going to get dry in a couple rounds. So I like taking a running back, Joe Mixon, if he's available. I like him at 11 for sure.
Yeah, especially like if you're in a 12-man league, you're going to be picking in like 2-3 picks after that. So you can always shoot for like a pretty good wide receiver there as well. So taking a running back with Joe Mixon is not bad at all. At 12, I got Travis Kelce. And I want to say my honorable mention for like 12 is Devonta Adams. I think he's one of the best receivers in the NFL, if not the best receiver. I think a lot of people would agree with that. I personally have Travis Kelce ahead of him just because he's always been Patrick Mahomes' guy. But with Tyreek gone as well, like who knows, like how much better is Travis Kelce? Like he could do even better than he's used to. So I mean, I feel like having Travis Kelce at 12 is like an insane lock at tight end. Like you're set.
Yeah, I love that. I went back and forth. I actually went with Devonta Adams at 12, and then Travis Kelce was my honorable mention. Yeah. The only reason is because, like you said, Devonta Adams is the best wide receiver in all of football. Yeah. I don't think that it's a debate. The only reason that he's here is because there's uncertainty with him playing with Derek Carr, and people always talk about in fantasy, when wide receivers change teams, they always score lower in fantasy. But we have never seen a person, besides Stephon Diggs, which I still think that Devonta Adams is better than Stephon Diggs by a good margin. We've never seen someone like him change teams before. It's not something that happens with wide receivers often, to where I don't think he's going to have that 1 year slump. I think that he will perform well. It's not like he played college ball with Derek Carr. Exactly. I think that's huge. If it was something different, I might not think about him at 12, but I think if you're at 12, you've got to take him. But I think that if you're at the last spot in the draft, you've got a great pick right here. You can get Devonta Adams and Travis Kelce. I mean, you're low on running back, but those are some good. That's a good wide receiver and tight end to have right there. But
definitely,
that was our little mock draft that we wanted to do for you guys, just to kind of talk about something different as you guys go into your fantasy drafts. Think about that. If you are in our league, please don't think about any of those players. I would love for all of them to fall to us. So, just to finish up the episode, we always want to turn back to a passage of Scripture. So I have Romans 5:8 for us today, and it says, "But God demonstrates His own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." I was doing a little devotional about pride this week, and I got this verse that came to me, and it was kind of something that I was reading. Pride is definitely something that I struggle with, like being prideful and thinking so highly of myself. While there's times where I'm down on myself, there's times where I'm like, I am so much better than this person. I'm so much better. And so this is something to show us, like, we are all sinners.
Yeah.
Christ died for all of us because we all sin and we all fall short of God's glory. So I just wanted to share that with people, to be like, you might be thinking that you're better than people, and you might be thinking that you are just the low of the low, terrible people. But this is to show you that we're all sinners, and Christ died for specifically you. If you're listening to this, I want you to know that Christ died for you. So just wanted to share that with you guys. And I know I kind of like these shorter episodes. It's kind of fun just to get into the topics, talk about that stuff. But thank you all for listening. Dev, you have anything else?
I don't think so. I'm ready for football to start up. Ready to get these fantasy drafts down so I can get my team, start pulling off some trades. I'm ready. Dude,
I'm ready for fantasy football to start. I'm ready for the football season to start. We're going to be doing something where we're going to all be back together finally at GCU, and we will be doing weekly picks of how we see it going. We're going to keep a record. Yeah, maybe we'll get a trophy or something for whoever wins the year. We should get like a trophy or something for whoever wins, gets the best picks out of all of it. But yeah, we're definitely excited for the football season. I mean, it's the best time of the year when NFL's back, when college football's back. It's the best. So, well, we just want to say thank you guys again for tuning in to this episode. Yep. Please like this video, subscribe, comment, and we will see y'all in the next one. Peace out.